98.1 Love Music, Love Life on a Thursday morning, 32 minutes past 6 a.m. Ayokunmi right here, ready to take you into some thoughts this morning because we're going to be talking about transportation. And of course, that is, or that has been one of the hot button issues in the last couple of weeks, bearing in mind, high fuel costs and all that in between. It is the wild, wild west out there at the moment. So we'd love to hear your experiences and, of course, your thoughts on 0809 444 0981. 0809 444 0981 is the WhatsApp number. You can also catch us on the live stream on YouTube. It's at Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Joining me this morning to dive into the matters is my special guest in the person of Daisy Erharhire. She is the PSN Business Banking Team Lead at Raven Bank. Very good morning to you, Daisy. Great to have you on the show once again.
Good morning, Ayo. Great to be here. Happy to see you once again.
Indeed, indeed. The feeling is 110% mutual. As you know, we're going to be talking about Lagos NURTW. That's the National Union of Road Transport Workers launching 3,000 CNG tricycles to cut on transportation costs. Now, I just want to start here to first of all get your thoughts or your first thoughts on the introduction of these CNG tricycles in Lagos.
Okay, so I'm tempted to actually clap my hands and say, "Oh yay!" Thank you, Lagos chapter, for coming up with this initiative at this point, right? But yeah, it's a good one. It's a good start. Yeah, at least though I was wondering, why haven't we tried to use this CNG vehicles in the past? Because apparently it's just wasted gas that is now being converted as fuel now. So why haven't we think of this initiative all this well? I don't know that conversation around it happened earlier in the year, but probably it wasn't finalized. And from what I understand, the cost of getting the fuel is really, really low. Yeah, compared
Mm.
to what we're currently in the recent fuel at. So I feel it's really going to be a good one. If the 3,000 tricycles are actually distributed to every local government within Lagos and across every individual that can manage or use tricycles. And yes, that should help reduce the cost of transportation for uh, residents. That
Are you there, Daisy?
movement from one point to another within your environment. Though I do have my concerns about long distance. Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you now. You
Hello?
you kind of broke off for a second, but I can hear you now.
Oh, okay, sorry about that. So, but I do know that I do have my concerns around long distance trips though, especially for those that will be commuting to work, right?
Mm.
But yeah, but it's a good start. It's a first step. So let's take it one step at a time and see where this gets us to.
Mm. Do you think this is going to, have an impact on the daily commute for Lagos residents? Because when we talk about tricycles, I mean, it's not like a tricycle is going to take someone from, let's say, the mainland to the island. Yes, they work, should I say, on connecting roads within communities thereabouts. But on major roads and all that, tricycles don't actually fly. So how much of an impact do you think that this will make on the daily commute? I mean, for those who need to come out from their homes, maybe get to the bus stop and so on and so forth, at least that would reduce the cost to a degree, but will it be very significant, at least for those who are commuting?
But so yeah, like you already said, for those commuting within your connecting roads, your streets, close by places, yes, it is going to be very efficient and affordable for them, right? But I don't think I want to take a tricycle from Lekki to Yaba, right?
I don't think I've ever seen
That
that anyway.
long distance. However, I do, though I know I've seen recently somewhere around Chevron area, you can actually get like tricycles from here to like maybe Aja and some place further. maybe Ebumadi, sorry, I don't know if you know these areas, but yeah, um, I'm already seeing signs of, how tricycles can actually go as far as that, which I was never really comfortable with because, for instance, I mean, this is going to be disbursed in Lagos first, right? I know how
Right.
Lagos drivers are, how Lagos roads are. So for other persons that are not, well, commuting just within their environment,
Mhm.
um, I would say it's not going to be so safe for those type of individuals, right? You don't want to be in a tricycle and maybe someone's a big vehicle passes by you and splashes you water. Because I do have my concerns whenever I enter tricycles, right? And I see how people drive and how you can get messy if you're not if you're not driving properly.
Right.
So
Right.
it, it's going to be very efficient for those that are taking long. I want to believe this is short term.
Can you hear me, Daisy? It seems there's some technical issues um, going on at the moment. Try to get Daisy back on board to complete her thoughts there, because this is a very, very interesting one that we have on board this morning, looking at the CNG tricycles that have been unveiled by the National Union of Road Transport Workers of the Lagos State chapter. Actually, 3,000 of these commercial tricycles worth about 10.2 billion naira in order to ease the transport challenges that Lagosians have at the moment. Okay, looks like we have Daisy back on board. I think Daisy, can you hear me?
Hello, I'm so sorry.
Uh, I, I understand perfectly. Sometimes when the gremlins decide to get into the network, there's not really much you can do. But great to have you back.
I'm so sorry. Yes, it has not been so nice since last night, but I think this is going to be much better. I switched to another network. I'm so sorry.
All right, there's no issue at all. Now, I just want to pull something out here. Now, during the launch of the tricycles, now this was done by one of the NURTW chieftains, that's Alhaji Aziz Abiola. Now he mentioned that
Um, I think the last thing I get.
can you hear me clearly now?
Yeah, I can hear you better now.
Okay, so he said that a development will reduce the cost of living among people drastically because it costs a tricyclist about 15,000 naira on average daily to fuel their tricycles to operate. Now, he says CNG operation will cost between 2,500 naira and 3,000 naira for daily operations. Now, that being said, do you think this will significantly reduce or affect the fares for passengers? Because I mean, if you're spending 2,000 naira, 2,005 to 3,000 naira to fuel your tricycle in a day, you would think ideally the cost of the fare should come down. But we know this is Nigeria. Is that going to apply?
Well, please confirm if you can hear me clearly because I
I
lost you
can
for
hear
a
you
moment.
clearly. I can hear
All right.
you.
So, yes, the cost of living might reduce a little bit, but not so much. I'm saying not so much because, for instance, let's look at transportation of food, right? You're not going to be using tricycles to move a truckload of, a large quantity of food from one state.
Hmm.
Except that is also addressed. At the end of the day, even if I'm using a tricycle that is powered by, it's fueled by.
Hmm. The gremlins in the system deciding to
Spending so
do
much, or
their
maybe
thing this
clothing,
morning.
right? Because this new initiative is currently not being applied to the buses or the trucks. They are going to be buying fuel at the current price. So, like I said before, I want to believe that this is like a short term initiative. And while we are, using this to just, hold on, they are thinking of, other ways that it either they will apply this initiative to the other means of transport you need fuel for, right? And in the long run, it's going to still affect our own cost of living. So why this is, therefore around to long distance spaces, move their goods from one point to another and all of that. So yeah, I think that's basically my thought around it for now.
Okay, I mean, that being said, it's all well and good that this initiative has happened. There'll be 3,000 more tricycles out there, CNG tricycles on the road, and so on and so forth. Um, but the question that you have to ask is, I mean, do you actually believe that there's enough infrastructure like refueling stations to support this new fleet of tricycles out there? Because I mean, 3,000 tricycles are a lot, and they need to be fueled. Is there going to be enough for them?
Well, first let's first get the 3,000 tricycles that the government has actually promised us, because I do have my concerns around how many persons will even get this current one. I say that to say, okay, it was a time, how you're going, you probably, if you ever take public transport, maybe shuttles, you see one day and driver, one of the guys as usual warrants like mark the guys, the guys who's chairman, so you're not supposed to collect food. And I was made to understand that some of this, when these tricycles, when these shuttles get to Lagos or is distributed to local governments, in some cases maybe some persons might get it at no cost, but in some other cases you have some of these local government chairmen hoarding the tricycles, and they end up selling
Mm,
it.
mm.
Now, my question is, how many? Obviously, in some cases, some persons might be able to buy it at one time, and it's their property for life. In other cases, like I said, they rent it out, right? At the end of the day, these guys obviously have to pay for rent, for rent the tricycle from them. And as you go about your day-to-day activities, you also get to pay them, from that as well. So all these little, charges and expenses that they have to pay, it also talks up
Mm. The
whatever
Gremlins
the cost
decide.
price is going to be at when this is running. They will still need to consider the fact that they are paying rent for this rest, so they have to make enough to cover for the rent. And of course, the cuts that they give the so-called local chairmen, they have to also make enough to cover for that. So at the end of the day, they have enough for themselves and to run their expenses. So yeah, I do hope that um it gets to everybody, yeah, at least at a fair condition. I don't know what the
I guess time will tell the sort of condition that we're going to find. But we really are hoping
start from somewhere.
that
We can let's basically try to make our yeah. Some always say nah, nah Nigeria they do ourselves. I'm sure it might not be so smooth, but yeah. Because I mean, there's a part where the government has done their part, but we as individuals amongst ourselves, let's help ourselves. Let's make this whole thing easy
on Daisy, we need to make things work. I mean, if
for us as well. So yeah,
exactly.
I like I said, let's get
All right, Daisy, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts this morning on Business Express. Like I said, fingers crossed that this initiative actually will happen the way it's supposed to happen, and Nigerians will be the better for it at the end of the day. It's been a pleasure having you on Business Express this morning. Let me just take a quick message from Gilbert Musa before we go. He says, on the introduction of CNG-based tricycles in Lagos, it is a welcome development, but first things first, the road network also have been improved upon because gas-based vehicles are
yeah,
sensitive to irregular movements and sudden halting or braking, which might be potential threats or hazardous to a safe ride. Thank you for getting your thoughts in this
Yes,
morning,
yes,
Gilbert.
yes.
It's a pleasure always hearing from you. All right, Daisy, do have yourself a great Thursday as you get along. And I'm looking forward to, continue this conversation tomorrow on Business Express. Have a great morning. All right, Lagos, thank you for being a part of the show this morning. Keep it tuned to Smooth 98.1. There's more great music coming your way as we count down to 7:30. And take a look at the
Thank you,
headlines
Lagos.
on Freshly Pressed.